Well, don't call it a comeback because it wasn't necessarily a complete comeback from the Dallas Cowboys. An early hole down 28-6. The Cowboys did everything they could in the fourth quarter to make up the deficit, but ultimately fall short at home for their third straight loss at AT&T Stadium. 28-25 the final in Week 3 of the NFL season. Alongside Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, a trio of former Cowboys. I'm Kyle Yeomans as we react to this second loss of the year for the Cowboys. Now 1-2, both losses coming at home. And it looked like for quite a while this is going to be the second straight embarrassing loss. Cowboys rectified that a bit at the end. Maybe found some rhythm on offense that they had been lacking, but at the same time, you can't allow yourself to get in that big of a hole.
Yeah, Kyle, it was too little, too late when you talk about this team. I mean, you love to see the grit. You love to see the fight that they came back with to make the game interesting. But to start the game off, I just got to go straight to the defensive side of the football. Once again, the rushing attack has killed this defense. I mean, 274 yards on the ground, 45 carries. I'm going to say that one, 45 carries for the Baltimore Ravens out there. And Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, they had their way. I mean, we said it in the pregame show. You got to stop this man before he gets going. You got to get him going east and west. And that was not the case. I mean, we saw him hitting those holes down there and getting downhill on this defense. So to me, the problem still continues with this defense of stopping the run. They got to tackle better. They got to become more physical. And they got to win those one-on-one battles. And you did not see that this afternoon.
I'm going to one-up you. Okay. You said 45 runs.
I did say that, sir.
It was 75% runs for the Baltimore Ravens offense. I'm going to say it again. 75% runs. When you have that confidence and that effectiveness in terms of the physicality of a team to be able to come and impose your will with your ground game over and over and over again. That's why y'all should watch the pregame live show, because we gamed you guys up in advance. This was going to be the case if you cannot have some kind of fort at the front of that offensive line. You got to be able to stop those guys before they get going. And that's even before you hand the ball off to King Henry, who went off for 150 yards or 140 yards. So you have to make sure that you find some kind of resolution there, because if you don't, every team that has the capabilities of running the ball will do this to you. And I think we saw this story somewhere along the lines maybe a year or two ago, but it happened, and it's going to happen again unless you find a resolution.
It was a tough fought game. I like the way these guys hung in there. My man CeeDee Lamb lost it a little bit and kind of got lost in the shuffle, but Jalen Tolbert, Ferguson, the other guys, they kept competing. And that's what I'm looking for here. This game was more, to me, about the Cowboys trying to be a better team, trying to be physical. They were down, they gave 111 rushing yards in the first half. They was 13 minutes for them, time of possession, 19 for the Ravens. Yeah. But through all of that, they were in the game at the end. Dak, way to continue to fight, way to lead your team. CeeDee, come on, man. Come on now.
It was a bit frustrating to see the frustration build and build and build for CeeDee Lamb. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in Cowboys game night coming up, because there's a lot to break down in terms of the overall look of CeeDee Lamb. The body language is terrible.
Maturity. Let's call it what it is.
He was very immature on the sidelines. And we don't know exactly what's happening in those moments, but you can kind of infer from the outside.
But we do, right? And that's why we do. I'm just calling it like it is. That's why we're former players up here, right? Like we do understand that, and we're trying to help y'all understand that you cannot, regardless of the situation, regardless of the frustration that you're experiencing, you can never exude that kind of frustration on the sideline that can be so divisive for a team that's trying to find a way to gain some momentum. You are facing going 1-2. The last thing you need to be doing is having some explicitives on the sideline against your QB1, having terrible body language when everybody else is in the game fighting for yard after yard. When you're on the sideline taking a knee, having bad facial expressions, and your 2, 3, and 4 receivers are out there getting first downs and marching you down in a 2-minute drill, you can't do that. You just got the bag. More is being asked of you. Step up to the task.
Well, let me ask you a question, because you played quarterback and wide receiver, so you understand this. We went out there in camp, missed all of camp. People were talking about that connection between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Will it, resolve itself when it gets into the regular season? Is that what we're seeing right now? The first game, they looked like they had a little thing going on there. But these past 2 games, missed ball here, missed ball there. The connection just isn't there. Was it camp that provides that extra oomph when you talk about the connection between the quarterback and the wide receiver?
I think that plays a part in it, right? But that's still regardless of whatever's going on there until they find that continuity, right? Derrick Henry and this offense hadn't found no continuity until tonight as well. And you never saw King Henry out there with bad body language.
Yes,
so that's something that has to be corrected immediately. Micah Parsons has a little bit of it creeping in there too. So what's taking place is you have your three-headed monster in terms of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, who's on the edge in terms of getting his payday. All these guys have to find a way, regardless of how successful your team is or how bad it is. You have to find a way to keep your head, have those conversations in the locker room, have them in the huddle, but there's cameras around, and when all that attention is on you, everybody is watching how you respond.
Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Ferguson, they kept fighting.
Yeah.
Dak kept fighting. The young Guyton, he picked his game up. He started punching. The O-line started fighting. We were one possession away, brother, from taking this thing.
Yeah.
That is what I look at. Now they have something to build on. You, as a leader, have to rally your troops from this point on. This can be easily forgotten. All the sideline antics and all the, all of that. Right? That can be easily forgotten. Just start this week in practice.
And before I know we got to go, but we talked about this right off air. This would not have been allowed. That type of, those type of, I don't know what, antics and body language, would that have ever been allowed in your era?
No. I tried that one time with Mike Irvin. I was going to go at Troy. Mike grabbed me. He said, no, bro. It's our starting quarterback. He has too much to worry about for you to act a fool like that.
Championship culture.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that still building, and it's early in the year. It's only week 3, but you can't let it to unravel because it could go one way or the other. You either quit that now and you get everything back on the same page, or you let the same page start flying and everything starts unraveling. And then this is a long, long year for the Cowboys. At 1-2, it doesn't look pretty. There were a lot of things at the end there that you can build on moving forward. But fact of the matter is, you weren't good enough today against the Baltimore Ravens because you fall behind 28-6. You're not going to have a whole lot of success when you're kicking onside kicks at the beginning of the fourth quarter, just trying to claw your way back into the game. So the ending was something to build on. Other than that, the Cowboys have a lot to be desired and a lot to fix going into week 4 in a short week. Thursday night football against the New York Giants to try and get back to 500. We leave you with the final stats presented by Miller Lite. 28-25, the Baltimore Ravens have now won 6 of the 7 all-time meetings with the Dallas Cowboys as they win this one at AT&T Stadium. More to come from Cowboys OT starting very shortly, and we've got Cowboys game night later in the night as we break down the film with Barry Church and see exactly how this one unraveled for the Cowboys early. For Barry, Isaiah, Nate, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long for the first word presented by Dr. Pepper.